Well, I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal. People know me. I'm very important. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells like Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond.
A third of the people love you, a third don't care about you, and a third hate you. So you concentrate on the third that love you and you go for it.
I think the greatest Achilles heel for leaders is they don't give themselves time to think.
So my journey is one of those, like there are a lot of detours. There's a lot of going off on the side roads.
Thrive Out listeners, you're in for a treat. We're here with Jamal Mashburn,
Jesse Itzler,
the John Maxwell,
Jackie the Joke Man Martling, New York Rangers great Mike Richter,
Lisa Lampanelli,
Mary Carrillo.
Oh, how nice.
I'm actually going through the practice of being an entrepreneur.
Pick yourself up, brush yourself off, and thrive loud.
Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
I love it.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond. Today on Thrive Loud, we have a woman that has had an exciting career in the travel industry and, fueled by pure passion, launched a career performance training company called CareerFrame that drives human connection in the workplace through strengths, engagement, leadership, and growth. She's also a writer, a thoughtful influencer, and we are very fortunate enough to have her coming from Dallas, Texas. Thrive Loud listeners, Carrie Fabris. How are you, Carrie?
I am excellent. How are you, Lou?
I am rocking and rolling on a busy Friday, but I am excited because I love dealing with people who help train people, and specifically in this human connection piece, because I'm all about connecting and I want to get into the nuts and bolts of the stuff that you do because it's awesome. Wow. So what I want to kind of do is kind of understand what happened, because you had one interesting career and then you shifted to this. So I want to understand what was the calling, what pulled you in this pure passion fueling that happened to you that brought you in this direction.
Yeah. Interesting path. So as you said, like I had this amazing career in travel at Travelocity, worked at Google, worked at Sabre, started getting my first leadership opportunity when I was at Google here in Dallas. And then did a couple of hops between Google and Sabre. And then in 2014, I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. My husband was a startup entrepreneur and he got Series A. So I was like, I'm tired. Like you take the baton for a little while. I want to step out and just be mom. And when I stepped out to be mom, it was like the first month was euphoria. Like, oh, my babies. I love my babies. I get to spend all this time with my babies. And then the second month was, oh, they're still so cute. And the third month was, they're getting a little sassy. And then the fourth month was, I really miss having adult conversation. So when I left Sabre, I had a team of around 30 people underneath me and reporting up to me. And I really missed that. I missed having that leadership influence and really helping other people rise in their careers. And so I'm out in the backyard, I'm pushing my daughter in the swing, and I'm like, if I could do absolutely anything I want to do, what would it be? And I just very quickly came to my mind, and it was, I want to support people in their careers. So I basically grabbed my freak flag, waved it in the air, and said, who wants to be career coached by me? And then surprisingly, I started getting people who were like, me, I do over here. So I started career coaching people based on my experience in leadership with these phenomenal companies, and kind of grew from there. So what I really had to honor myself with and just allow myself to accept was that I really loved being a mom with a career. And so from there, I launched CareerFrame in 2016 and have been plugging away at it ever since, and just really have loved helping people have these aha moments in order to be the better version of themselves.
Carrie, we're gonna hit something at the end of this conversation, which is going to make you smile in a small world piece. But I'm gonna build up to that for later,
great,
because I want to dive in a little here. So today, in this very unique world we are facing, talk to me about the biggest challenges you are seeing with leaders and many of the people that you're working with in helping them in an environment that has most of us have never seen in 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to get your perspective as to how the challenges you're seeing most and how you're helping people move through them.
Yeah, so a couple challenges. One is around how people are embracing, air quotes, this wild, wild west that we're living in. And then the other thing is how so many people have gone to working remotely. Yeah. And it's very uncomfortable for a lot of people, especially for managers who are now having to manage remotely. Yeah. So the first thing, and let me just write this down and make sure I keep my thought track clear here. So the first thing is, there's this saying where, you plant in the winter so things will grow in the spring. And we are in a massive winter with COVID-19. And I have seen so many people be driven by fear, and this is like the ultimate uncertainty. But what I'm trying to help people do personally and professionally is to kind of lean into that and to change the story they're telling themselves. And I don't want to minimize the seriousness of how COVID-19 has impacted thousands of people. Everybody has their own story. But I kind of take it as one of my duties is to help people take some deep breaths and just say, look, this is a crap storm, okay? But there's also beauty in it. And when you stop and look for the beauty and the opportunity, it completely changes your brain chemistry and completely changes how you're going to be able to thrive in this crazy wild, wild west that we're in. The other thing with leaders, again, is the remote piece. I have talked to several leaders, some chief officers who were like, I can't do it. I can't work from home. I'm like, you can do anything you want. And there's a saying that I love. If you say you can't, you're saying you won't. And everything is a choice. So if you say, okay, I'm working from home now, so I will be working from home, what can I do about it to adjust? So with leaders, they have to adjust their mindset so they can then influence their teams, because it is, you have to make an effort to be a manager of people. You have to make an extra effort to manage people remotely. I've been a remote leader for 13 years. And so it's a gift of mine. I love it. And I've had this great ability to influence people from afar. And so I work with leaders on how to do that effectively, not only taking care of themselves, but taking care of their teams. Because when you take care of their teams, then things will start to just flow better. There's less chaos, there's less drama, there's less depression and attrition and things like that. I have a training actually that I do it's basically around the remote team hierarchy of needs, which very much plays off Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But it really hones in on remote teams and the art and science of remote. So those are the two things I'm seeing the most, which is fear-driven attitudes, which are not super productive, and people adjusting to working remotely.
It's really fascinating because I now know why we were connected together. We're going to hit this too on the back end. I'm so excited.
There's so much things we're going to hit.
There's so many things we're going to tap into.
Action-packed.
So most notably, what's really interesting is the challenge you have of managing leaders. It's really interesting. What most leaders have been doing is they said, okay, well, now I'm at home and now I'm just going to carry over everything the way that I used to do something physically in the office and bring it into the virtual environment. Right. And they're not taking advantage of the efficiencies that can be created in working virtually. Hence, hashtag promotion for Thrive Virtually. We'll put that in some ad in this show. I'm sure it already leads in the beginning of the end, but that's not important right now. What is important about what Carrie's talking about, which is so true, is it's first dealing with those leaders and helping with the mindset and getting them in that comfort level. Now, I want to make this point. I think they're kind of comfortable with it. And we also have now the weirder challenge coming. So let's talk about if we're in the winter and we're planning for the spring, let's call it the muddy March. And we're trying to get through it before things start growing. We're slowly, and I stress slowly, moving towards this hybrid-like model. Yeah. Where some of us are at work and some of us are working remotely. Talk about having to manage that challenge, because that is really the big obstacle. And I want to hear your 2 cents on this, because I have my own opinion, but I want to hear yours. Our listeners do too. They don't really care much about mine. So.
Well, it's really taking that effort and really tapping into the type of leader you are. So I have, there are 2 certifications that I have, and I'm very passionate about both of them. One of them is I'm a certified strengths finder coach. And then I'm also a certified situational leadership trainer. And I love how these 2 go together, because it's basically, and I won't go down into, details of those types of trainings, because this is more around what can the leader do to understand this hybrid dynamic. It's really understanding your team. And leaders are going to be phenomenal leaders when they take the time to do so. Yeah. This COVID time has been kind of like the great corrector, if you will. I posted something on LinkedIn months ago about all these words. So we're reframing, we're reevaluating, we're all remote. This is the reality. We are, just re everywhere. We're reconnecting. We are so fast paced that we're not stopping and actually seeing people and hearing people. So when you have a hybrid situation, it's really pushing you to see people differently and hear people differently. Now, from a strengths perspective, because I can't not talk about strengths, I'm so passionate about it, this is where it's helpful for leaders to understand what their talents are. Because if you're someone who loves consistency, but yet you've got this hybrid relationship or hybrid setup, you're going to be uncomfortable with it. And I can help you with that, but you're going to be uncomfortable with it. If you are someone who understands individualization, different people need different things, you're going to handle this a little bit better and a little differently. And so it's really just about tapping into the people on your team and communicating with them. The best leaders are the ones that are transparent. They build trust with their people. They present stability. They bring hope. They bring compassion. All of these things are crucial as a leader, really crucial now during this interesting time, because that's the way that you're going to engage people and have them be efficient if they're working at home or if they're working in the office. And also, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to jump in and say, and it's that balance. It's the ability to you're going to need to be in the office to get certain connecting things together that work together. That human connection aspect is so important. But there's also this reality that we have flexibility in how we work. So we are going to have those situations where 2 people are in a room and one person's, Zooming from home. You're going to have meetings which were all virtual and other ones when you're all together. And being able to balance all that together just as another form of communication, knowing when to use the right means when. Yes. Recognizing the bigger piece, which is to bring everyone together, is what great leaders are going to be able to do.
No, that's exactly right. Because if you and as a leader, if you've got someone who's having a problem with it, you've got to talk with that person. You've got to say, what's the issue? What's the concern? Why is it impacting you the way it is? And be genuine about it. I always joke with people that I coach individually. I'm like, they tell you as a coach, never ask why. I am a coach who always asks you why. I want to get to the heart of the matter. I'm not gonna, just own it. Like, this is not to put you on the defense. It's nothing like that. It's, why are you feeling the way you're feeling? Let's just get it out so we can address it and handle it. And so, it's as a leader, you're doing yourself and your direct report a huge service when you're just driving that conversation, that dialogue. When I'm working with people, this is why I have this program, Reframe 2.0, and I love the word reframe because it's just all about thinking differently and getting people to really go through the uncomfortable to get to comfortable. Everything that we go through in life and work and just life in general, the whole big ball of it, we're always going to have discomfort. And the way to get to the other side, to get to peace on the other side, you've got to have that strength to go through the discomfort and have the conversations and be an adult about it. And leaders that guide that and lead that way and influence that way are phenomenal leaders that people want to follow.
Reframe, rework, remote, Carrie.
Yes. Exactly.
I love drilling the conversation into a whole different angle here. And I want to go a little deep into understanding a little more about you and share with our listeners a little bit here, because obviously, look, you have the gift of helping people understand how to get to those problems and asking them, why they're feeling the way they do and how they can dive in and what they can do to make them thrive.
Yep.
But personally, we all have days when we are not quite kicking on all cylinders.
Oh, 100%.
Carrie, when you are having one of those days and you are having trouble thriving, What practice do you seek, or what individual do you seek out to get back on the thriving track?
So I personally, I have been on my own, now 19 months of personal improvement journey with my own coach. So I am a coach. You will always have a coach because I see the beauty, the benefit of it. Coaches are different. They push you and hold you accountable, very different from like a therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, things like that. I absolutely have my moments where I'm like, are you kidding? Do I have to face this day? Especially, don't even talk to me about how I was working through homeschooling at the end of last year. That was a whole different story. But what I do is, and again, I'm along in my journey. So I've practiced and worked on this gift, I'll just say, or this technique. And that is quite frankly, choosing to get up. And I don't mean that to sound so, really, Carrie, that's it. That's all. You're not going to give me some 5-step framework. No, I'm not. It really is that choice of, I can sit here and be completely unproductive, low energy, and then wonder why nothing gets done, and therefore I get more frustrated. Or I can get my butt up out of this chair. I can change my state, do the Wonder Woman pose, even though I don't want to, and usually put on a song that makes me start dancing and getting in a better mood. It's really that simple. Like my go-to song is Let's Go by Calvin Harris and Neo. It works every time. So it really is just about what is again, I talk about how I help people reframe for the ideal. So even on myself, I'm like, what's the ideal right now? The ideal is for me to get up and move and change my state, so I'm not beating myself up later about doing nothing, if that makes any sense at all.
It makes complete sense. And Thrive Out listeners, if you haven't figured out already that Carrie is the coach you need, think about the level of focus she has. She just went through that whole thing, what she has to thrive with. And her little dog is barking in the background and constantly keeping her on beat.
Hashtag working from home, right?
You got to love. I'll let you know that, by the way, my dog is right behind me, absolutely snoring in our ear. So I've been saying this for hundreds of episodes. I want a dog cast one day. I literally want all the dogs just to come on. And I think they'll probably get more listeners and downloads than I've ever.
I think you will. Like, it's on social media now. All I want are pictures and videos of puppies and babies. Like, I don't want anything else. I don't want COVID talk. I don't want politics. I don't want anything. I just want puppies and babies. Yeah.
Let's do this, Carrie. I want to let our listeners get a little admin piece here so they can find out how to connect with you. Share with the listeners all the places people can find you, websites, links, URLs, all that stuff. We will put it all in the show notes. However, when they hear it, it always comes better when they hear it from you.
Yeah. So you can find me in Dallas. You can find me on CareerFrame.com. You can find me on Instagram at CareerFrame. I'm on Facebook as well at Your Career Frame. I will tell you, I'm not as active on Facebook as I am on Instagram and on LinkedIn as well. So Carrie Fabris, Fabris, on LinkedIn. And I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I post a fun little video of myself from my living room talking about a talent theme from StrengthsFinder. So it's a Framing Your Strengths video series that I launched a couple weeks ago, and I'm having an absolute blast with it. So I'm currently in the executing talent themes. There are 34 talent themes in StrengthsFinder. So I'm picking one every Tuesday and every Thursday and putting them up on LinkedIn. So you can find me, connect with me, see my videos, follow me, all of that great stuff.
I'm going to ask you to do another plug here because we kept this conversation focused on the main work that you do. However, you are also a writer. Can you share with the listeners something that you put together? It's a little off the different path from what you do, but I think it also will help complete how amazing you really are. So can you share that with the listeners, the work that you've done?
Yes, thank you. So I did a labor of love that, quite frankly, I didn't think I would actually bring to fruition. What I learned through this project is I will bring anything to fruition that I am actually truly passionate about. Everything else is just something that I think sounds good at the moment, apparently. So my son is on the spectrum, and he is awesome. He's super high functioning. But since he was 2 months old, he has been absolutely fascinated and quite passionately obsessed, let's just say, with fans, ceiling fans, box fans, turbines, windmills, wheels on a car that look like a fan. Anything that resembles something that would spin like a fan, he notices. And so now my family and all my friends, everywhere we go, we notice fans too. I noticed that there were really no kids books around fans. There's one out on Amazon that this mom, again, my heart goes out to her too, because of just what she did for her son, but it's a bunch of pictures kind of put together in a book. There were no illustrated books around fans for kids. So I basically created a book called Fans Are Fantastic. It's about a little boy who sees fans everywhere. And I had created a song, total improv on the couch one day with my son around fans. And the song was Fans Are Fantastic. So the first part of the book is the little song that I created. And it's just a fun, sweet little book that really any kid would like. This is not a book for special kids. This is a book that is completely unique. I have yet to find any other book like it as far as on the topic. But, a lot of kids have their thing that they love. And so they'll resonate with a lot of kids. And in this case, it was Fans for my son. So fansarefantastic.com is where you can find the book. It is on Amazon. On our website, you can see the story and pictures of my son. He is in the book. He's throughout the book. And it's just a fun little adventure that I did for him. So he can also, it will also help him improve on his reading and really lean into books and things like that.
Spectacular. And by the way, we will put a link on that as well in the show notes, which is just awesome. By the way, I kind of need him because for almost the entire summer, I had my ceiling fan in my screened-in porch spinning the wrong way. I am not making this up. It was pulling air up instead of blowing it down. Didn't even know it. I had to go fix it. It took forever.
Well, he would probably see it and be able to tell you that. And also,
yes.
I tell you, if he was to see your picture of you with the microphone and Thrive Loud, your little symbol right up there, he would say, "Look, it's a triangle fan."
That's right. That's very cool.
So he just has this. He can tell you how many blades is in a fan when it's spinning. It's fascinating.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
It's fun. It's fun.
Permission to go down Fun Street with you, Carrie, if that's okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, the first two are going to be interesting because you've kind of already hinted to one of them, but I'll go with this. Can you share with the listeners your all-time favorite movie?
Harry Potter, hands down.
Were you a fan of the book? Were you, or explain, or just the movie?
Yeah. It was quickly. I did a part-time job at Barnes & Noble back in the late 90s, and everyone of all ages was coming and asking about this children's book. And I was like, what is this? So I picked one up and I took it home, read it in 5 days, couldn't wait to get my hands on the second one. I was one of those people that pre-ordered and then waited in line for the fourth one. I had probably my best day, heaven on earth, was when I was in London by myself and spent an entire day out at the Warner Brothers studios where they filmed all the movies. And it was the day here that President Trump was announced as our president. I was in a really great place in Harry Potter world. So yeah, I even have a sticker on the back of my laptop that says, "I solemnly swear I am up to no good."
That's really good.
From one of the books.
Excellent. So, and is there one of those 7 movies? I guess there were 7, right? That you like more than any other, or you just like the whole series?
I love the whole series, but I will say Half-Blood Prince is one of my favorite ones. I do love that one a lot. Kind of gives you a little peek into who Snape really is.
Right.
The bad guy. Anyway.
Excellent stuff. It's so good. All that things. Okay. So here's how this is going to work. This is kind of like the speed round, the Family Feud. I'm going to ask a bunch of things and you're going to have the first thing that comes to mind. And the good part is that you kind of already answered one of them earlier on. Right. So we're going to hit it. And then you ready to roll? You ready to rock and roll? I know you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. A song that pumps you up or that you like to listen to. I think you hit this before.
Yeah. Let's Go by Calvin Harris and Neo, or anything Queen.
Favorite food that's not a dessert?
Lemons.
Favorite dessert?
Tiramisu.
An activity you wish you did more of?
Run.
An activity you wish you did less of?
Run.
If you could snap your fingers and go anywhere, where are you?
Positano, Italy.
Thrive Loud listeners, Carrie Fabris, you absolutely rock. And now we're going to connect all the dots here for our listeners as promised. So you obviously had mentioned that you worked at Travelocity and in Dallas there. So I'm sure you're familiar with a woman named Michelle Peluso. Michelle
introduced me to my husband.
So Michelle Peluso was my sister's first boss. I got to meet her when she created Site 59.
Site 59, yeah.
Yes.
So we acquired Site 59, brought them down, and I sat outside her office, and she came and pops on my cube one day, and she's like, "I'm gonna go meet this guy that I'm dating. I want you to come with me." And I'm like, "No, not doing it. Well, luckily, she convinced me to go because I went, and she went to go meet the guy that she was dating, and I met his wingman, who is now my husband. They didn't end up together, but the wingman did.
That is crazy.
Yeah, so I owe a lot to her.
And obviously she's now the CMO of.
I'm like Michelle Paluzzo for president. I'd vote for her. She's amazing. She is amazing.
She should run for senator. That could be the first step. We need her over here in New York.
Well,
to do that.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. She'd have more power than probably.
Oh yeah. And the other thing, we have to give a shout out to Jamie Crosby.
Yes.
Bisson? It's Bisson now, right? Because she just recently got married. She got married in the COVID storm, so to speak, her little virtual wedding, which was amazing. And Jamie's awesome. And obviously you guys have done business together, which is great. She's a Thrive Loud rock star now, like yourself. And so glad that she took advantage of connecting us all together. And look at all these connections coming into one world.
Totally. And it was so quick. So it was so natural and organic because, I mean, you and I connected like Wednesday afternoon and here we are Friday morning. So it was very quick. And so, yes, I was, she is special to me and grateful that she made this connection.
Absolutely. Carrie, so glad that we had you on today. Hopefully you had a lot of fun.
I had a blast. Thank you so much. I love doing podcasts. I love doing this. This was an extra special fun one. So thanks, Lou.
Absolutely. And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep thriving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Check us out on the web at thriveloud.com and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at Thrive Loud. And check us out on the Good Pods app at Thrive Loud, where you can follow, listen, and connect directly to Lou and all of the Thrive Loud episodes. Thanks for listening.